This is a Pele Media podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to Goonies Minute. Goonies Minute is the fan podcast where we break down the classic 1985 film Goonies minute by minute. I'm Brady.
And this is Chris.
And today we're going over minute 19 of the Goonies. Chris, how you doing?
Doing well. Looking forward to talking about this minute.
I know. This is a cool one because we've been sitting here, having everybody doubt Mikey and doubt the One-Eyed Willie legend and all of this. And the map isn't good enough justification. So they need something more. They need something tangible that they can relate to. And boom, Chunk knocks it right over.
In the previous minute, Mikey recounted the legend of One-Eyed Willie to the rest of the gang. They all laughed at his story and began to walk away. As Chunk walked away, he knocked over a framed newspaper, which caught his attention. At 19 minutes, Chunk excitedly runs over with the framed newspaper featuring a picture of a mysterious-looking man. At 19 minutes and 3 seconds, Chunk asks if anyone has ever heard of this man, Chester Copperpot. At 19 minutes and 10 seconds, Chunk reads the article, which speaks about a local reclusive scavenger who went missing in pursuit of One-Eyed Willie. Before he disappeared, he claimed to have the key to One-Eyed Willie. The gang all look at each other in amazement. At 19 minutes and 22 seconds, Brand and Mouth both warn the rest of the gang of getting too excited. Brand asks the obvious, why would the map be in their attic if all of this was real? At 19 minutes and 35 seconds, Mikey proposes the idea that it might actually be real, and if so, it could save the Goondocks from being demolished. At 19 minutes and 45 seconds, Chunk proclaims that he is not going to follow Mikey on any more of his crazy Goonie adventures. At 19 minutes and 50 seconds, the doorbell rings. Everyone quickly hops up and runs out of the attic, leaving Mikey by himself. At 19 minutes and 55 seconds, Mikey folds the map and grabs the doubloon. He reads the date on the coin as 1632 as he puts it in his pocket. And thus ends minute 19 of the Goonies.
So the frame that Chunk knocks over is for a newspaper called the Astoria Legend, and the main headline on it says FDR promotes the New Deal, which kind of connects this movie's universe to our universe, gives us something to relate to.
Right. And the New Deal was a series of programs put forth by FDR, 1933-39, kind of get the economy and everything going.
Which is really cool, because it's given us more of a timeline, and of course it's giving the Goonies, the kids, something that they can relate to, and they're also able to see a photograph of someone, and I guess that just helps people believe legends and things like that. We can look at a history, but we can look at paintings and things like this, but we're still not quite able to believe it.
I wonder if there's an actual Astoria legend, because I tell you what would be good research is to actually see if this was a headline, and all they did was change the picture of Chester Copperpot with simple
could have been
Photoshop or Quark Express, the old stuff they used to use.
You want to hear something crazy? We'll go off on a tangent here. Did you ever see Zodiac? Came out about a little less than 10 years ago.
Yeah, but I don't remember much about it. Yes, I did. I only saw it once.
It was pretty good.
It was very good, but it's like you have to mention a couple things for me to remember.
Well, speaking of prop newspapers.
Who was in that?
Oh, man, Jake Gyllenhaal, Robert Downey Jr., Mark Ruffalo.
Who's the female?
I don't know. Let's see. Chloe Sevigny was in it as Jake Gyllenhaal's wife.
Something tells me there was a movie similar to that had Sigourney Weaver in it in the last 10, 12 years. But I'm thinking something. No, okay. I saw it. I don't remember.
Okay.
And it's because that kind of stuff's right up my alley. But I need to see that again.
You talk about attention to detail. The big newsroom had a stack of prop newspapers over in the corner. You probably didn't even see it in the shot. Well, the cover stories were, actual reprints that a prop master had gone in and made, and the person looking at these was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." This whole stack of papers, it's the same one piled up. They turned the pages in the newspapers, and whoever designed this prop newspaper made an entire newspaper sitting in the corner that no one's ever going to go through.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. And one of the notes, that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about. Nowadays we have digital formats that can pause and even DVDs were the first ones that could do it. But if you paused a VHS back in the day, you couldn't really see anything. Mm-hmm. So let's say you wanted to see the legitimacy of a newspaper or a picture of something or something dated or something with writing that is part of a prop in a movie. If you paused that back then, you really couldn't read it and you couldn't see. And actually, a director could have gotten away with not paying attention to detail. However, now when you have the ability of the layman to pause things, you can go in there, and I've done that before. Let's read that article, or let's read that letter.
Yeah.
Like the goodbye or the suicide letter in a movie. Let's read it. Let's see if they actually took the time to put the content in there to make it believable, and thinking that someone might actually do that.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
It is interesting. It's very interesting.
And you could do a whole thing on looking at stuff like that,
Yeah.
seeing the significance of these letters and seeing who actually followed through with the attention to detail.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Astoria Legend front page here on my computer screen, and all of the writing in there. Who knows if it's just gibberish that was typed out, or if someone actually went and wrote an entire article about this.
And we've ripped this, so we'd have to go look at the original to see, because this is not as clear as maybe the original,
Right.
To see if there is the writing in there or what they have done.
Or if somebody has this actual prop newspaper page, then they should
Right.
give it to me. So
yeah. Well, we might have to do a little bit of research
Might
before
have
we
to do
get
some
back
research.
into another minute.
That's right. So anyway, I think it's interesting that the kids are now able to start believing in this story because they see that someone else has gone for it. And this news article talks about the One-Eyed Willie legend. So it's telling us about a guy named Chester Copperpot, and it's got a picture of this creepy looking man, and it talks about how, in fact, the headline for the picture, it talks about a local scavenger who has gone missing. And this says his name. Now, nobody really knows who the actor is, who's in the picture. There's a couple of ideas, and some people say they might know who it is. But
Yeah, I don't know. And who's to say they could have taken this. They could have even taken this picture from the Astoria Legend and just, randomly put this.
Assuming that's a real thing.
And just changed it to Chester Copper. I mean, who knows?
Who knows? So they've got a couple of names here. One of them, the people in the picture, some people assume it's a veteran actor named Keenan Wynn, who was originally cast to play Perry White in Richard Donner's Superman, but had to drop out. So that would have been interesting that he's able to fit him
believable.
here. Yeah. And then some people actually believe that it's a picture of Sigmund Freud, who it looks like. Some people think it's a guy named Bob Skyfe, I believe is how you pronounce that, who was the construction coordinator for the movie, and Spielberg saw him and just kind of liked his look and said he's going to put him in it. And some people believe that it's just a prop photo that apparently is also seen in a 1981 movie called Shock Treatment. So
Which we've got to try to find.
We've got to try and find it, see if it's
but
in there.
I would think that Spielberg and Donner, I would think they would put more thought into that than
I think so,
just using a stock photo.
I think so too.
You know? I wanted to note also the music, the exploring music comes on.
Yeah.
The revelation music. Let's say that when they're looking at this photo again, because this is significant. Remember, they play that music every time something significant they see for the first time.
Right.
So you hear that music again. And an interesting quote that they say is that One-Eyed Willie said, "I have the key to One-Eyed Willie," which is one of the quotes they quoted him as saying. But of course, he goes missing.
Right.
So, which is interesting. That's when Brant says Brant's so negative. Remember, he's been negative the last few minutes. He was excited to go in the attic, but he's been negative. He's like, no one found anything. If someone would have found something, why is this map in the attic?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's like, why would this map be in the attic? Which would make sense, though, is in the attic if the dad was the one that was looking for this treasure. He had to put it away for the sake of his wife. That would make sense that it would be in the attic. Mm-hmm. So Brant's a little short-sighted with that, but it's a typical negativity that Brant has at this point.
Exactly, and he's kind of going to have to eat his words.
And then Mouth agrees with him. Mouth.
That's right. Yeah,
Mouth's so negative right now, which is we'll get to later in the wishing well.
Yeah,
a little bit more about that.
Right.
Mikey's a dreamer. He's like, what if we wouldn't have to leave the Goondocks? And Chunk's like, I don't want to go any more of your crazy adventures anymore. So, it's like Chunk's not into it.
And you would think Chunk would be.
Yeah, and I mean, Chunk's not into it. Mouth's not believing it. Data, you really don't know at that point. And that's at the point in time where you hear the buzzer, and Troy's dad's going to be down there to serve the paperwork.
Yep.
And then they all run off, but Mikey stays there and says, "Guys, you don't want to do this." So Mikey is all in at this point.
Yeah.
He's the only one all in at this point,
It's so
and
funny.
it's going to take a little convincing.
Right, that they've all switched.
Yeah.
Now it's Mikey. All the other guys are out.
It's like finally, Mikey's the one that didn't want to go in the attic.
Do you find that a little hard to believe that they're all? I mean, they have proof or evidence right here in their hands. They have enough to say like there is some legitimacy to this whole legend, and they're all just turning it off now. Like,
I'm stunned in the movie world, the way that it's written, that they would all not believe it.
Yeah.
But then again, this is them throwing us a curveball at us. We would expect them to be all in right away. Okay? I'm sure there was a thought process involved in that, because you would expect all these kids to want to do it right away.
Right.
And none of them do. But that's just the brilliance of these guys, of Donner and Spielberg. That's the brilliance of it, in the sense that, here it is. This guy did not want to go in the attic. He's protecting his dad's stuff. All of the other ones wanted to go in the attic. What if we could find this? What if we could find that? And now it's exactly the opposite. And Mikey's the one with the dream. And he's the one that wants to go through with it. And all of them don't. And they're going to take some convincing.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
That's very cool. Well, that's all we've got for Minute 19. But until next time, this is Brady.
And this is Chris.
And we're here to remind you that Goonies
Never say die.
Goonies Minute is a fan-supported podcast. If you like the show, then leave us a review on iTunes. You can find us at GooniesMinute.com, Facebook.com/GooniesMinute, Twitter.com/GooniesMinute, and at Instagram @GooniesMinute. You can contact us at GooniesMinute@gmail.com. You've been listening to a Pele Media podcast. For premium content and exclusive podcasts, visit us at patreon.com/PeleMedia. Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/PeleMedia and follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/PeleMedia.